Welcome to Dawn English. I'm Adil Shahzeb and I'm joined by former Defence Minister and Pakistan Muslim League Noon's senior leader, Khawaja Asif. Khawaja Sahab, thank you so much for joining us. Recently, when you were responding to Amrullah Saleh, ex-spy chief of Afghanistan, you referred to Afghan Taliban as freedom fighters, and you faced a lot of criticism, especially on Twitter. Because those who criticize you, they believe that because Afghan Taliban believe in violence, therefore they can never be freedom fighters and they are extremists, etc., etc. How would you clarify your statement, please?
Defining them as freedom fighters, the Taliban who struggled against the foreign occupation of NATO forces for over 20 years, was in reference to that every nation or different times in history, people have struggled against foreign occupation. We struggled against foreign occupation in 1940s, and then in 1947 we got independence, both India and Pakistan. We were freedom fighters. Our forefathers were freedom fighters, both in India and in Pakistan. We were freedom fighters because we wanted freedom from the British Empire. So freedom fighter is a word for any group or any nation or any armed group who are struggling against the foreign occupation. It could be in Afghanistan, it could be in Pakistan, it could be anywhere in the subcontinent, or if you go back in history in Vietnam, or even today, what is happening in West Africa, they are fighting against foreign influence. They can be classified as people who are protecting their freedom. So anybody who's actually aspiring for freedom or struggling for freedom is a freedom fighter, irrespective of his religion, irrespective of his ideology, or irrespective of his creed or whatever. You can define them in whatever way. But freedom fighter is not a word which is confined to just one place or one country. It is used in history for maybe perhaps thousands of years. So I think people who have objected to it, they are in their minds they have very narrow meaning of word freedom fighter. It has a wider meaning. Anyone struggling against foreign occupation, the Palestinians are freedom fighters. They are struggling against the occupation of their land. The Syrians who are fighting for.
But Khawaja Sahab, Palestinians, they are not supporting any other terrorist organization. When it comes to Afghan Taliban, we all know that TTP have hideouts in Afghanistan. They have the support of Afghan Taliban. Afghan Taliban have failed to act against the TTP, and TTP is fighting Pakistan. So can we really call them freedom fighters?
No, these two subjects are not interconnected. That's a totally different thing. They are not. We can sort it out with Kabul whenever we want to sort it out. We can sort it out. If they are helping people who are acting against Pakistan on Pakistan's soil, obviously we have every right to retaliate and every right to react, and that we will do. We know it that and we have communicated this to the government in Kabul that this will not be tolerated by Pakistan. That if there is some help or some sponsorship which is available to people who are fighting against Pakistan or fighting or busy in terrorist activities on Pakistani soil, it will not be tolerated. So these are two different issues. How will you define them if you don't define them? If you're not ready to define them as freedom fighters, what will you call them? People who struggle, armed struggle, actually creates violence from both sides. The Americans bombed or NATO bombed Afghanistan. Perhaps it's unprecedented in history the way Afghanistan was bombed. The NATO forces were occupiers, and people who struggled against Afghans who struggled against them. It was an armed struggle, so the violence was obviously there. If they are supporting people who are busy in terrorist activities in Pakistan, that we have to sort it out. That's a bilateral issue between Kabul and Islamabad. We'll sort it out. There's absolutely no doubt about it in my mind, or people who are actually steering this issue at present. They have absolutely no doubt in their minds that we have to sort it out, and we'll sort it out.
Khawaja Asif, thank you so much for joining us.